Okay, hi guys, how you doing? Welcome to the June tutorial video. Sorry, this one's been a bit late. Been last couple of months have been a bit madness. So I only got around to it later in the month, but I'll leave it up for a bit longer so that you guys can catch up on it. And also, if you've missed any of the old ones and you were subscribed, oh, sorry. If you've missed any of the old videos or content and you were subscribed at the time, then send me a message and I will make sure that you get linked into it if I've taken it down off the page. So today I wanted to go into parallel distortion a little bit, or parallel processing, parallel compression, anything parallel really. So yeah, parallel processing, basically it's, the idea of parallel processing is to duplicate a track or via a send, a bus, and apply different processing to the original, i.e. compression, distortion, and then you can blend the new signal in with the original one to give it more character, more richer sound, complex sound. So yeah, you can use it on on your basses to give it a, if you want to use it on bass, you give it a really over compressed or a bit more distortion, and you mix it back in to the original signal, and you'll get a fuller sound, a more characterful sound. And the same with drums. Yeah, and you can even use it on synths as well. So yeah, I've been using it loads and loads on my tracks recently. So I mean, yeah, it just gives you kind of more textures on your drums when you use a bit of compression on there and a bit of saturation. So I'm going to start off now with it. Just get a drum loop in. I've got my EXO drum machine open with one of the old Patreon patterns that I made. So yeah, it's really good if you haven't got this one. And I've got it running through my drum bus already, so I've got a bit of clip going on, bit of standard clip, some saturation, some bit of limiting using the vintage limiter on Ozone Advanced. Yeah, and then various bits of transient stuff and a bit of EQ at the end. I've got some bit of boost, low end boost, using the Pultec EQ emulation. So that's my basic drum loop, and I just wanted to show you how I would parallel compress it, and then maybe we can add some crunch onto it as well. Yeah, so I'm going to make a parallel, a new bus from the drum loop, and I'm going to send 100% of the signal here. I think I did something similar in the last tutorial when I was making the tunes, so some of you would have seen this anyway. And I always make it pre-fader so that if you turn this up and down, it won't affect the signal that gets sent to the bus, which makes a difference. It can, if you're like at the end when you're mixing, it can really affect the levels. If it's post fader, it makes it a lot harder to mix it at the end. And so I'm going to add in a compressor that I always use, Logic stock compressor. And then basically, like I was saying earlier, you want to really compress compress the hell out of it basically, and then mix it back in. So we'll have it on full signal to begin with, and you'll see this go mad. I'm going to put it onto my preset that I made, parallel drums, which is a really like extreme setting. I'm going to get lots of movement on the meter. We're really, going to smash the ratio up and the makeup. So, and we have the attack, the knee down to 0, and the attack around here, and the release around here. So, just reload that. Yeah, we're just gonna have a listen to it now. Just solo it. So you can hear that. It's mega compressed. If you bring the ratio up, you can hear what the difference it's making, and the makeup. We bring it. I mean, we're taking off 30 dB, so I've got the makeup right up, and then we bring the threshold down. So it's worth just like getting a compressor open and messing around with all the different various things, threshold, ratio, makeup, all of the bits, and you can really hear the difference that it's making to the drum signal. And then we want some of that kind of attitude that the really the overly compressed signal has got, and we want to feed it back into the original drums. So I'm going to bring it right down on here now, unsolo it. So that's the original signal. So we're just going to so it just adds much more presence if we mute it again. And then you adjust the taste really. Now, as I've sent it straight from the drum machine to the compressor before, so the signal's going in before it goes into the drum bus. So you can either do it that way, which will have different results than if you do it this way and you send it after it's gone through the drum bus. And then you're going to get a slightly different sound. So let's have a listen to it now. So now both the signal is going all the way through the drum machine, straight through to the bus, then to the compression. So and then you're mixing it back in from here rather than here, which it's worth trying both out. But yeah, I think I prefer it through after it's been processed in here because it's tighter, and then you're compressing a different signal. Kind of brings out the kind of hats and the percussion out in a different way as well when you run it through the parallel compression. So it'll just give more character. And then if you just wanted to run the kick and snare through the parallel compression, that's something you could do as well. Obviously, I usually make tunes into the master with most of the master stuff engaged, so it is actually running straight through all my processing on here. So maybe we can have a listen to it without some of the processing on here, see what we're dealing with. So we'll see a lot quieter because I've got limiting and more compression on there. So you might be able to get a bit more of an idea of. Turn the master up a bit. So it just adds more presence, and with parallel processing, I did have some notes. Yeah, if you like, kind of add in parallel processing across your track, it kind of fills out your mix without smashing the master level. You know, you're not going to get too many peaks. It's more of a blended, warmer, rounded signal. So you know, you keep your dynamics, but you get punch in the signal too. So it's a really good way of making your tracks more fuller. Sorry, bear with me. Yeah, so yeah, basically what I've already said, really. You know, you're blending in these really heavily compressed signals with the original more dynamic signal, and you get, you know, you don't get these spikes on your master because you're adding, you know, you're blending in sounds that make it seem louder, but they don't spike on the master out because it's all compressed, so it doesn't completely smash all the peaks on your mix. So you kind of get the feeling of the track being louder without it distorting. It just warms up the whole thing, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, that's the drums. So another parallel technique for drums is to add a similar way. Get some distortion going. You know, so you can add the crunch layer on top, just to sit on top of your drums, so you get that crunchy kind of nice saturation. So I'm going to set up another channel, same way, pre-fader. I'm going to boost it right up. So that's coming here. That one for some. Where's that? No, there. All right. So we've got soloed here, the new bus that I've made, and I've got all my distortion and saturation plugins, which I've actually got a fucking fair few now, haven't I? And yeah, loads of them make really nice sounds to put on a drum loop. But the thing I've been using most, the one, is Saturn 2 recently. And they've got some really nice lo-fi settings that I think really sound good on a distortion drum bus, parallel drums. And so yeah. Some of them are quite extreme, but I like the lo-fi ones. Okay, and then I'm going to take out the low ends. My computer's saying no. Yeah, we'll take the high quality off for now. So then we're going to blend that in with the original. You get some really interesting stuff. I just want to check something actually. So on this drum loop I've got here, this hat seems to be coming in. Skew if. A bit weird. So yeah, obviously when you like compress and add more layers to the signal, different signals, it's going to bring out different artifacts in parts of the drum loop that weren't sticking out before. So that hi-hat really started sticking out to me there. So I've just panned it a bit, changed the EQ a little bit. So yeah, now we'll go back, unsolo it. See, I'm liking that one. It's adding a real nice crunch to it, so I'm just going to start EQing it. And I might add some transient work on here as well, just to like develop it further. So if we put one of these on there. All right. A bit of I know this is about the parallel processing, but I'm just in the drum machine now, so I'm just going to kind of I'm just editing a few things in here, like taking off some of the reverb that was on it. And I love this thing which changes the accentuation of the hits, so it will give more different grooves to it. So It's really cool. And the thing about this drum machine as well, you can add your own kind of crunch and saturation in as well for another layer, so you can clip it as well. So yeah, if you muck around with like the different parallels, signals, and the original signal, you can get really kind of lively drums. So if we like take off a bit more EQ in. Yeah, so that's my, a parallel drums processing that I would do. I mean, any kind of bus is a parallel processing. It's just, I think when you come to like parallel compression or parallel distortion, you're making a much more extreme signal and just feeding in a little bit of it. Obviously, another parallel signal would be reverb. So a good drum reverb that I use is the best one I've found for like a drum bass anyway is this Valhalla Room. Super clean sound, but you can bring it right in the depth. So you just get, rather than like for a drum reverb, rather than a real kind of washy reverb, you get this real tight but kind of clean reverb with this. The best one I've found. Just adds a little warm hug around the drum loop. So yeah, I mean that's a nice drum loop. Quite well processed now. Definitely good enough to kind of use, either bounce out or start writing the track with it. So a bit more parallel compressing. Maybe we should start on with some bass now. We can. Well, let me just bounce out this now. Actually, this drum loop. It's really cool. This, you just drag the MIDI out, and you can fuck around with it as well. So we can just add in an edit on the second one. See the hats? They're just slightly off because that's the groove that it's giving you, and all the main hits like the claps and are all slightly off as well. Apart from the main snare should be hitting dead on, and the kick is dead on, but everything else is slightly off. So you get like a really kind of much more of a groove on the drum loop. So we can go, I don't know, just add in. It's nice. Make it a bit more interesting. So, yeah. Or maybe on every fourth one, it might be a bit much on every 2 bars. Yeah. So I might right click this, bounce it. Patreon parallel loop. You notice all these peaks are on here, these little spiky bits. That's because I bounced it from the drum machine, so it hasn't actually gone through and been clipped yet in here. So if I'd bounced it from after this signal, it would have looked really different. So that's a unclipped signal. I think my clipping, the standard clipper, would be taking off these kind of nasty little clip bit, louder bits off the signal. That's another story. We're on parallel compression today, or parallel processing. So yeah, there you go. I've got the drum loop out of the drum machine now. We're gonna add in some bass. I might just drag in some bass from a Patreon pack and then start adding like parallel compression onto it. My samples, where's my bum 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 bum. Here we go. What's the latest pack? Texter. Okay. Alright. Yeah, that'll sound nice. Alright. I'm gonna rearrange it slightly. Come on. Move it in a bit. Yeah, little reply stab. Okay. So let's take out the clips. So I will send it to my bass bus, as I always do, and add some compression and some side chain with the drum loop. So yeah, there you go. I've got it side chaining off the drum bus. So mainly it's just side chaining off, just taking off the lower, letting the kick through. Then there's a bit of compression on here. So I'm going to make a new bus 20, and this is going to be my compression. Alright, I'm going to come down to my bass, parallel bass setting. Notice I've got a little bit of distortion on this one as well over here. But similar vibe. I'm going to go to pre-fader. I'm going to whack it up. I'm gonna Compressor's really working hard there. So I think particularly with bass, you're getting that extra kind of it fills out the signal and it doesn't smash your master out. So you're getting that warmer sound without killing the it's just not distorting. You're just getting warmth and just a bit more weight rather than distorted sound. So I'm gonna add in the master of it now. Sorry if I hurt your ears. Give it a little bit of a mix. I've added in some compression. And some ozone. We'll add a bit more. Okay, so really notice it with this when you add in the really compressed version. It really warms it. I'm going to add a bit more limiting in. Got a plugin called the God Particle here, which is really good actually. Just started using it recently. Just adding a little bit of limiting on the end of the signal and just adding a little bit of volume. See how much it adds when you've got that compressed signal on the bass. It really just brings it to the front. So yeah, man, that's like the two main parallel processing. Obviously vocals, you can use it as well. We've done some reverb. I'll try a bit of distortion with on the bass. So parallel in this context can also mean just doubling up your channel, and adding like a different texture onto the bass. So we could use sorry, I've got some music lesson being taught in the background. So I've just doubled up the signal rather than sending it on a bus. And this, it's parallel. It's running parallel to the. It's just a different blend on the. Different blend on the channel. And you can add things like distortion, anything really. It's different kind of signal. What am I using those at the moment? I'm loving this unfiltered audio, which I did use a bit before. Try a bit of verb on there. And you could even try moving them a bit. Or even have them a bit earlier and move the bass subs. One thing I've been loving using recently to really get interesting shit going is just shape a box. You can really get. Some time. This is really cool. This thing, loads of different. So I'm gonna bounce these out and just wonky edit. So now I'm just gonna take out the little bits that I liked out of that. So there was a that bit when it just gets faster there. That's sick. So just that. Just cut bits out. So just. Let's get the volume up on here. Then you can go again, you know. Try this on it here now. Try a different bit of distortion. Just keep going until it's being crazy. Really good delay that I've been using a bit recently is timeless 3. And there was a so there you go. That's, you can make really interesting stuff with the parallel, you know, effects and adding some distortion, bouncing out little cool bits, and then editing them, and you know you've got something really interesting there. You know, you've got your bass which is nicely compressed and parallel compressed, and then yeah, so. And then you can start maybe from here, you know, getting some ideas for a tune. So it's, you know, it's a good way to start, really putting that effort in to get everything sounding great at the beginning, and then you can really build, get a little vibe going off these little sounds. You know, start maybe, I don't know, you can start messing around with this sub bass now. Yeah. So yeah, lots to you know, always lots to do. I mean, that's the thing about this music, which is so addictive for me, is like it's just there's no rules. You can just go off and do fucking mad stuff, and it's satisfying when it works well. So yeah, I'm going to come to an end with this one now. If you've got any questions about this particular topic or any plugins or any processes I did, just hit me up and I'll do my best to explain it to you. And look out for more bits and pieces coming soon on my Patreon. So yeah, big up everyone.